Alright, ladies and gentlemen, you made it to video 2. Again, I do apologize for last video talking super fast and the video quality it's not that great, but just bear with me, be patient, and we'll get through this eventually, and you get to understand a little bit of what I see and a little bit of what the word has to say. And I mean, if you're still watching, then great. I mean, that's for you, you take it however you want, and if it's helping you, then amazing. I mean, that's a blessing already. So let's go ahead and just jump right in to make this video as short as possible. Without a good foundation, you can never get to your kingdom that you always dreamed of. And then we'll go to Luke 20:17. What then is this that is written? The stone which the builders has become the chief cornerstone. In another version that I can read it to you, more simple, it's and beheld them and said, what is this then that is written? The stone which the builders rejected, the same is become the head of the corner. Whosoever shall fall upon that stone shall be broken, but on whoever shall fall, it will grind him to powder. Again, a quick explanation of the Bible. There's many different versions of the Bible, and many of them have it's not that they're different. The language that is written in is just traduced into a better way, and again, you have the New King James Version, you got the New International Version, you got many, and again, do some research on it, and try and see which one fits best for you. It's about what you feel more comfortable with as into understanding the Word of God. As that being said, let's go ahead and what this verse to me, when I read it, the way that I saw it, the way that I in my perspective that I understood it. God our Father, the Lord Jesus, has already deposited seed, His Word and His Spirit. So God has already given you the tools for you to work on that house. Not only the house that it's going to be in heaven, but the house that you're going to have to build here, and I mean, you can't really go somewhere without a plan, without something to guide yourself on, So, like I was saying, you can't really walk across the room with the dark light. And it's the same way here. What good is it we plant a seed and sit there and wait for the plant to grow? I mean, you need directions. You need to know that you're gonna have to put water in it. You do know that you're gonna have to put soil on it, and you're gonna have to put time and money into things. And not necessarily money, but more of dedication, passion, and more than anything, it takes faith, having to believe in something that you don't see. I mean, it's not faith if you already see it, you having faith is into seeing and believing in something that it's not there, that you can't see it, and that's how God works. I mean, it's crazy, but it works because people always want to be like, oh, see to believe, and they're always about seeing to believe, and it doesn't really work that way with God, because He wants you to believe in Him and to trust Him, and He'll show you His wonders in a secret way that only you can understand, because it's your personal relationship with Him. And it's the way that I'm explaining to you. It's something as personal as religion, and you can call it religion, you can call it, I call it love for Christ. And remember, Jesus here didn't come to preach about religion. He never came and started telling Jews and all kinds of people. He got people with love, he got people with respect. And even though He was God, think about it, He came in sandals and He came in a robe. Even though He was God, I mean, He was like the Son of God, which is crazy, because God manifests Himself in many ways. And I mean, it's something that we gotta understand, that He didn't went and bought Himself up with God, and He didn't put Himself in the biggest castle in the world. He lived a humble life because He made Himself Lord for us to understand that life is not about going for the best of things. It's about really working for Him and really being the best person you can, not by having possessions. Like I'm telling you, it's something that it's gonna be as wisdom, as something that in your mind, and something that it's great. I mean, that's why people always say, education is good. It is good. I'm not saying it's not, but it does help you in many ways. So how is it going to help me in many ways? So let's go ahead and read Luke 20:25. Render therefore to Caesar the things that are Caesar's, and to God the things that are God's. There you have it. I mean, to Caesar what? Like whoever's the governor, the president, who controls everything about the economy, and you eventually got to pay. It says right here, you got to pay your taxes, you got to pay rent, you got to pay many things. He understands how the government works and how this economy runs nowadays. So pay the government bills, rent, taxes, and any other things to the world to be able to survive. It tells you right here, and that's my comment on it, and on Luke 20:25. How we're supposed to render therefore Caesar the things that are his, to the president, to the government, things that that I mean, how how else will the government run? How else would you get what the taxes? Taxes, where they go to schools, to things, to the street, to people who really work for them, and it just keeps a balance. And as you may not think so, God has everything balanced out in a way that it works best for us. I mean, sometimes, like you're saying, oh, how can there's such a messed up economy? How can there's this and that? How can there's hunger? How can there's things? Believe it or not, everything has its reason and its purpose. Now, I mean, I don't know if you've seen hunger everywhere nowadays, but it's something that's telling us it's the end of the times. It's the end of coming, of how humans have become so egoish. Their ego is just there. I mean, think about it. How many billionaires or how many millionaires are there, and they can't even spare $1 for a food, for a plate, to someone who really is in need. Not get themselves a car that's super like billions and billions. Yeah, I work for my money and this and that. But I mean, not even Jesus. I mean, he helped people with what he had, and he healed the sick. And this is what I'm getting to. But pay to God what is his, at the glory, the soul, and your mind, and he will guide you on what you need to do. So again, we can't guide ourselves because we didn't make ourselves. We can't guide ourselves because we don't really have a full understanding of what it is, of what God is expecting from us, unless he tells you. I mean, I can't know what my mom's expecting, from me, unless she guides me into something, or put in any situation best fits for you. But God, it says it, give him your soul, the glory in your mind. It's something that he bought for a price with the Son. It's something that he already paid for, And to get out of this earth and enter to the kingdom of heaven, again, this is something that you're doing, and not only to survive here on earth, but that eventually you can go to eternity. I mean, again, it's crazy how here we only have like 80, 90, 100 years in earth, but then you got eternity on the other side, and you got to know that you're still working for something on the other side, and it's staying there. When you give him the glory, when you give him your mind, your spirit. And a lot of people, I know, and I heard it many times, how people are like, yeah, I'm too young to be going to church, and I got to enjoy life. I mean, it doesn't really work that way, because, again, the more you give time, the more you let God mold you, the more you let God, get you prepared for what you were born to do, the best. I mean, I can't really build a TV in a day. I can't, I mean, unless you have machinery and everything. Yeah, everything's possible for God, but again, isn't it better if we give him our best and our anything? Why always give the crumbs to God? Why always give the crumbs to him? I mean, why can't we give him the best of the glory? Why just Sundays? Why just a day, And I'm not saying it's not bad going to, I mean, yeah, it's good to go on Sundays, but again, give him more of your time. Give him the best of you. Give him your time, your effort, everything you have inside you, for him to be able to work with you, and that way you can understand that you're grateful for what you have. How is it that I'm showing him that I'm grateful when I'm wasting my time in things that are not really showing him glory, and things that are just not showing him that I'm representing him as a human being, as his, servant that I came to the world? And it's crazy, and it'll make sense. Just keep up with me. Our happiness doesn't always or ever will be where we tend to find ourselves. Yeah, I discussed about this, and again, eventually, if you don't understand something, you can message me or something, whatever helps for you, and I'll try and get to more depth into it. So in Luke 20:34, it says, the sons of this age marry and are given in marriage, but those who are counted worthy to attain that age and the resurrection from the dead neither marry or are given in marriage. So this is something that impacted me greatly, because I never thought, oh, marriage is good. And this is because Jesus explains how here on earth we have the privilege to marry someone. It is a privilege, because when we go to heaven, this is no longer with us. Marriage in heaven does not exist. It does not exist. You got to understand that once you die, once you go to the kingdom, once you go to the new earth, to the new heaven, things are not going to work the same way as they work in earth, obviously, and there's going to be new rules and better things. There are better things. No more suffering. You don't have to work for the food that it's in your mouth. You don't have to suffer. There's not going to be pain, and it's going to be something amazing. But again, it's going to be everything new, everything better, because you earned it, because you worked hard for it, and you were able to survive and able to, pass that test that he was able to see. You know what? He gave me his best. He gave me his life. He gave me everything he had, and he deserves it. I can't really go and give my kid something, a present, when he didn't even earn it. People got to earn stuff. I can't go to work and get the paycheck when I haven't even worked the hours. And it works the same way. It's like, it's of course a core of importance in our lives, because marriage, sex, and children are a great center of energy. You know, remember, energy, it's something great. It's you know, positivity, like I was saying. It's something beautiful, love and focus, you know. But eventually, we can't forget about God, because sometimes we get so much distracted in the world, so much distracted with our family, so much distracted with things that doesn't even matter as much. And where's God? You know, He's like, come on, I gave you the life, I gave you this, and I gave you that, and where do I go? You know, and sometimes, like I'm saying, we give Him the crumbs, we give Him the least of us, and He has a focus for us. You know, He has a plan for us, so we gotta follow that plan. We gotta follow what's best for us. We gotta follow the talents that God has put in every single one of us, and they're different. Like I'm saying, that's how we know that nobody's the same, because someone's better at something than other, and it's not for us to, oh yeah, I'm better than you, I got a better talent than you. No, it's just, you know, help each other, love each other, and work for God, because He's our King, our Savior. And again, I'll get more into that. Luke 30:36-38. Nor they can die anymore, for they are equal to the angels and are sons of God. You know, and again, sons of God, I'll get more into the detail with that, but you're equal to angels. You know, as right now on earth, you're equal to angels, but once you go to heaven, and there's a verse to it, and I'll get to it, you get to judge the angels. You get to judge the angels. Think about it. You know, you worked so hard for it, and you learned what righteousness was, and you got disciplined, and He finished whatever He had to work with you, and you'll be able to judge the angels, and you're equal to the angels right now. I mean, remember this. They work for God, and they help us as well. So they almost work for us, but they don't get to see the glory of God. Nobody has seen God, you know, nobody. But they remember, angels don't have as many chances as we do. They commit a mistake, and they're done. I mean, they're condemned. Us, look at that. Son of God died for us, for human beings. He didn't die. That never says that He died for the angels. He doesn't say that He died. You know, He died for us, human beings. And sometimes we gotta find how important we are in this world. How much of importance we are of God. How much He loves us, and really, you know, analyze this. And being sons of the resurrection, for He's not the God of the dead, but of the living. For we all live to Him. And honestly, what I always tell people, and I'm sorry if this offends you, God never stayed in the cross. God never stayed there and He died there and He stayed there. No, they took Him down, they put Him in a cave, and He resurrected the third day, you know, and it's amazing. And we gotta remember, God is not dead. He didn't die in the cross. And again, we can't say that Jesus Christ was just like this person that was a prophet, because He wasn't, because we obviously see how many miracles He did. And I know that no one has ever been able to do the miracles that He did. Yeah, there were people who resurrected people, there were people who healed people, but to the point of the miracles that He did, it just shows you how great His glory was, and how much of guidance He was to people, because they were like, where does He get all this? Where does He get all this wisdom? And He's like, it's not from me, but it is given to me from my Father. And again, you cannot build your house upon sand, for it will tumble to the ground. It is explained how we can no longer die, because Jesus didn't die. Like I'm saying, He resurrected, and we also did. So when Jesus saves us from the abundance of the evil, He opens our eyes to where the real treasure is at. We no longer care of who we are with us, but in who we are with the Lord our Father. You know, so once you really get to understand that point of view, that you see, you know, my salvation is my priority. My salvation is something that I gotta really, really, really work for. Then you go ahead and get the whole different perspective of who you are, what you come to. You know, you don't come here to serve another human. You don't come here to really be wasting your time in reckless things. You come here to really work your way up to something. Not only here on earth, like I'm saying, but in heaven as well. You gotta always remind yourself that you gotta keep that balance. Don't let yourself get distracted too much of one thing, because it's just gonna distract you to another, and you're gonna end up what? Falling into something. It happens all the time, but again, you gotta be aware of it. The more you're aware of it, the more you can help those falls, you know. And like it says, Luke 20:18, whoever falls on that stone will be broken, but on whoever it falls, it will grind him to powder. So what is this verse trying to tell us? I'll explain it for you. So bear the good fruits of the righteousness, be obedient to His word, and have faith and patience in His salvation. You know, honestly, and it's something that I've seen in today's world. People don't like being obedient. People don't like submitting themselves to the law. People don't like to, you know, really dedicate into something, or you know what, compromise themselves into something. And that's what it is. God is asking you to really dedicate your 100%, not 90% to Him and 10% for me. No, it's either 100% or or nothing. He says it in his word. You know, either you're hot or you're cold. There's no such thing as I'm warm. You know, there's not such thing as that. For those who oppose him of ignorance and weakness will suffer harm, as it says in the verse. But whoever it falls, it will grind him to powder. So let's not be ignorant. Who wants to be ignorant in this world? Everybody wants to know the best of things, you know, and everybody wants to know knowledge. Everybody wants to know wisdom, and that's why I'm saying look at the things of God, because there's no such thing as beautiful as what He has to offer, what He has to give us, that wisdom, that respect, not only from others, you know, but as well as putting you in a place that you know that it's going to be the best of it. And But those who obey you will have the rest of your days in glory with the Lord the heavens. Whoever falls on that stone will be broken, as with the discipline, understanding, truth, and salvation. Again, let me repeat that. But to those who obey you will have the rest of your days in glory in the Lord of the heavens. So again, you gotta obey. You know, if I listen to my dad, or if I listen to going to class every day on time, and if I listen to, you know what, I'm gonna stay dedicated to school, you're eventually gonna get that diploma. And like I'm saying, it works kind of the same way with God. If you stay truthful and you stay you know, constant to something, it's gonna eventually get you something. As He says here, like your work is not in vain. You're eventually gonna earn your salvation into heaven. But if you're not, like, for example, if I'm not going to school and I'm not going to classes, it's going to grind me up into what? Failing my classes and not getting the job that I want, and not getting that good, you know, reward that I was looking for, because it's just not, it doesn't work like that way. And I mean, we should be pretty smart to be able to get this now, you know. It's mostly discipline, understanding of the truth and the salvation. You got to understand the truth. You can't be lying to yourself all the time that what you're doing is right. You got to eventually realize with your conscience that you're doing the wrong thing, that it's not working for you. And in Luke 20:46-47, beware of the scribes who desire to go around in long robes, love greetings in the marketplaces, the best seats in the synagogues, and the best places at feast, who devour widows' houses, and for a pretense make long prayers. These will receive greater condemnation. Wow, this is kind of like just dropped a big load on you, you know, so I'll break it down for you. Don't go around the world desiring the best of the things that the world has to offer. Its best clothing, the best seats in church, and the best of everything, you know. Why desire the best of everything? I mean, we're all eventually gonna, again, bring counts to God. You have to desire what the best of the Spirit has to offer, the best of what God has to offer. Don't try and get the approval of humans. I mean, who are they again? It's like, you know, we're all eventually happen to be hypocrites at a time of our lives. Yeah, I've been a hypocrite many times, but I try and learn from those mistakes. We always got to turn and look into what's the right thing, you know. And why wish for the best of things, you know? Just as long as you have enough of something, that's good. I mean, oh yeah, well, good things are good. Yeah, I mean, again, this is my perspective, the way that I see things. Be hungry for what the best of the Spirit has to offer. Our Lord Jesus, who saved us from our sins, be hungry to see Jesus at the end of the tunnel. Again, this is how it connects. If you buy this, I mean, I'm not saying it's bad. If you buy this truck, or you buy this house, if you're wasting more time, it's some little extra money you can be spending in something more important, don't you think? Instead of something materialistic that it's eventually going to break down, that eventually is going to, yeah, it can last you a lifetime, but then you're going to die, and what's going to happen to that, you know? But again, if I'm going to do good deeds to people, I'm happy, it feels good. I mean, if you ever help someone and really seen the need that's out there, people who are really in need, people who are hungry because they don't happen to be in the same situation that we're in, and that's what He calls us. That's why God's calling us and be like, you know what, I'm calling you to go and represent me. Go and, you know, pray for them. Go and give the needy what they need. And it's crazy because they're like, oh, why is there hunger? Why is there this? Because we're here, because we become so stubborn and so greedy that sometimes we don't want to give people what they need. And I'm saying give them everything, because yeah, we do work for what we have, but God didn't have to give you your salvation. God didn't have to give His Son to die on the cross for us, but because why? Because His grace, you know, because He loved you. He loved us, and we gotta understand and love each other as I mean, love your brother, love your neighbor as your own brother. Doesn't it say in the Bible itself? So this is where I'm going with this. This millionaires, billionaires, and they're spending their money recklessly in things that are not even like. To me, it does not make sense when there's people there when I can spend it in a bag of rice, not even costs us $10 to go and feed people who are really in need, and you know, get to talk to them about how to better fight their situation in a way, because again, we're here to give advice to people. We're here to love each other as much as possible. And remember, your reward is not here on earth. This is not your reward. This is not it, because at the end of the day, again, you're going to be standing in front of God, and He's going to tell you, like, how did you spend your life? Did you spend it well? And work for those eternal things. Work for what's forever. You know what? Work for what's up there in heaven. But again, you gotta have a balance. You know, have nice things. I'm not saying to not have nice things here on earth. I'm just saying to not think about it and analyze it in your head to what's really proper. You know, to what's really, like, maybe sometimes we humans like going overboard of everything, and I myself sometimes like doing that too. I like going overboard of everything, like. And I used to do it too, like, yeah, so people can think I'm a badass, and people can think that I'm rich, and this and that. Why get the approval of humans when you can just, you know that God sees everything, and we're eventually going to pay for something. We're going to pay for everything that we've done, and He's going to judge you one day. You got to think of it as that. And I was moving on with the last point that I want to make, because nothing could ever compare to the such thing as our salvation, to reunite with our Father, the Creator of all things. I mean, I want to get to know God. I want to get to know what it's like being up there. I want to get to know that I have my spot, and I'm building my mansion. I'm building my house. I'm building my treasure up there in heaven. I'm not a treasure here that's going to be temporary, obviously, you know. And again, this is a different perspective that I know not anybody's going to agree with, because again, I believe in something that I don't see. My faith is in something that I know is eventually going to come, because that's how God works. He works by you having faith in Him, by you having faith in something that you don't yet see, but it's going to bring its good rewards. It's going to show you that, you know what, you believed in me. And people, all the time, we see it in ourselves. We want people to believe in us, because right now maybe they may not be seeing it, but eventually you'll see it. You know what I mean? And as put an example for, okay, I tell my wife, you know, believe in me, we're gonna get a house. And she's like, how am I supposed to believe in you, and if you're not really like showing me the house? You know, people are like, see to believe all this time now, like, and it works pretty much kind of the same way. You gotta believe in something that is there. You know, have faith of that mustard seed. All it takes is that little bit of faith, and you start seeing great things in your life. You start seeing great changes, and again, not only in your life, but in the life of others. And you gotta know, and you gotta believe that at the end of the tunnel, there's something else. And this is what I'm trying to explain, you know. And I'm not trying to tell you like, oh yeah, I know everything, because I don't. I really don't. And it's just the point of these videos, honestly, is just to kind of open a perspective into seeing things nowadays. Because what have we really made with social media now? We made it a joke. We made a joke out of ourselves, of the human race. I mean, where does all that go? Where does all that important, wise things? Where does that intelligence go? I mean, yeah, we created technology, yeah, we created this, but look at all this poverty, look at all this wars, look at all this. And I don't want to sound like just another person, but you eventually got to notice, and you eventually got to open your mind to it. You know, let's stop getting the devil to distract us into things that are not important, because that's the devil's job. You know, he's here. He only has three things to do: rob, to steal, and to destroy. And really think about it, the devil has already been defeated, so he has no dominion over your life whatsoever. And don't let yourself be dragged by lies. We all don't want to live in a world of lies. Nobody wants to live in a big lie in their lives. And I mean, either ignore it or take it as an advice. I do my job in telling you what it is, of what the Bible says. I mean, sometimes, yeah, we get lazy on reading the Bible. I myself sometimes get lazy to read the Bible, but I know if I read it, I'll get to know the truth, and the truth will set me free from that bondage, from that chain that I'm chained up to, the lies that the devil has got me into, to live for something that is not worth it. And again, most of these things are not going to make sense, but I'll get into more detail, and I'll start narrowing it down, because it is a lot of concepts, and I'm jumping around everywhere, and I'm being a little fast because I'm trying to cover as much information as possible. And I'm hoping my videos are getting a little better, because I'm telling you, I'm not great at making videos. So I really thank you guys for watching this video. And again, you can like it, you can share it, and I'm glad for all of you that have been watching, because I mean, believe it or not, I'm glad that there's someone out there that doesn't just, you know, see the things that everybody else sees. They see a different perspective of the world. They see a different perspective on their lives, that it's just not about greed. It's not about ego. It's more about loving your creator and loving God for who he is. Let's not try and bend God into our God. You know, God has been the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So most of the time, we humans, we try to make God into our God. You know, we can't make and be bending rules back and forth and saying, oh yeah, this is the God. God's been the same. God's been the same. He's been justice, and he's been righteousness. You can't be passing his law for granted. You know, we can't be stomping on and stepping on top of God's grace and Jesus. You know, it's like stepping on Jesus' blood that, oh yeah, well, he died for me, so I'm going to live my life however I want. It does not work that way, ladies and gentlemen. It does not work that way, and you will eventually going to have to bring account to God about how you spend your life and how you spend your time and how you spend your money. You know, how you did everything and what was the cost for everything you did. So there you have it, video 2. I will be trying to post and be praying for everybody that, you know, that I see that is keeping up with this, because I mean that's pretty much the most I can do for you and give you an advice. But I know a prayer is a much help. This prayer, we need to pray for each other, because that's the best we can do. Pray for us and pray for each other and help each other out, you know, as best as possible. And yeah, I mean, most of you are thinking like, Gio, you are gone crazy. You're nuts. But I came to know the truth, and the truth set me free. So there you have it, everybody, and God bless you, and y'all have a nice day.